Well, there it is. The Lord of the Rings MMO from Amazon has also been cancelled. I'm not gonna lie, after the New World news, there was a little bit of hope of me, a little bit of hope in me that maybe this was just the case because the new Lord of the Rings MMO was coming out. Or at the very least, they would launch it in some other way. Surely they're not gonna waste everything they did for New World and also the Lord of the Rings MMO that they tried to do twice in just one go. But yeah, I was sadly wrong. So let's talk a little bit about the information we have, why it's getting cancelled, how it got cancelled, and what is the situation here. Are MMORPGs completely dead and nobody wants to do them anymore? Or is it just Amazon being, well, Amazon? Let's talk about it. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support my content. Go to my Twitch to watch me live every morning, and let's get into it. So let's go from the start. The Lord of the Rings MMO was a little bit of a question mark for everybody. It started being developed in 2019 and it got cancelled in 2021. Amazon paired with the company Layout, which is the same one from Warframe, by the way, that owns Digital Extremes, and there were some problems there that made it get cancelled. But Amazon was like, no, we're going to keep going. We're going to find a way to do this. And it revealed that they were working on another Lord of the Rings MMO in 2023, partnering with the Middle-earth rights owner Embracer. It was supposed to be an open-world MMO adventure, spanning events of The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. But around a month ago, Amazon started talking a little bit about this Lord of the Rings game, as it was maybe not an MMO. You can see here from the Vice President of Amazon Games and Twitch, Steve Boom, that they wanted to do more console-friendly titles, non-IPs or non-play patterns. If you were to trace the arc of what we've been releasing and what we've now announced from our game studio, it would actually point in this direction. So what we started out was massively multiplayer games, MMORPGs. We've really widened the aperture, if you will. And so you've been seeing announcements for things like King of Meat, Tomb Raider, our upcoming driving game, and Lord of the Rings, kind of moving more in the direction of what I would call console-friendly titles, non-IPs or non-play patterns. This interview was a month ago. They were still thinking about Lord of the Rings being an actual game that they wanted to release. So to me, it's very, very weird that in a span of a month, they not only decide to, destroy New World, but also cancel Lord of the Rings MMO as well. They continue, the MMOs of those are really PC games. We launched New World on consoles about a year ago and it's done really, really well. But those games are their core appeal to the hardest core PC gamers. It almost makes it sound like they didn't want to do MMORPGs anymore, but they wanted to focus on known IPs that they can make money from. And that definitely applies to the other games that we're talking about. I guess you could argue that for the Snoop Dogg game. Snoop Dogg is kind of an IP in and of himself. But the Lord of the Rings MMO, or in this case game, would also count for this. So it feels a bit weird to me that they're cancelling it. Especially because of what the head of the Lord of the Rings MMO talked about on this cancellation. Oh, I'm sorry, it was indeed the former senior gameplay engineer at Amazon Games that was working the Lord of the Rings MMORPG. She announced that she lost her job on LinkedIn yesterday. This morning, I was part of the layoffs of Amazon Games, alongside my incredibly talented peers on New World and our fledgling Lord of the Rings game. You all would have loved it. And to me, that sounds a little bit weird. I guess it is indeed an MMO, and you don't have to classify it as that every time, but pairing it with New World and not mentioning it's an MMO and calling it a game is a bit, I don't know. It almost, especially considering that what Steve was saying about MMOs not being worth it, but still mentioning Lord of the Rings, I don't know, it makes me feel like they tried to make the Lord of the Rings MMO into something else, something more, marketable for everybody. Maybe they ended up failing, and this is why everything here happened, especially considering that New World was kind of like the beta for the Lord of the Rings MMO. It was going to be in the same engine. It probably would have very similar type of content. So in a lot of ways, New World could never fail, could never be cancelled, and it was never wasted development because everything that was developed for this game could indeed be moved to the other one. But now that the Lord of the Rings MMO obviously got cancelled and everybody got laid off, that's no longer gonna be the case, is it? It honestly is so weird. For one interview a month ago talking about them launching the Lord of the Rings game, to 1 month after not only canceling that, but also New World at the same time, it just, I don't know. I get executives want just more money and they want to get better quarters, blah, 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 blah. I get it. But it just sounds insane that all this is happening in just one go. Especially considering, one, how important the Lord of the Rings IP is for Amazon, considering their shows on the, the Ring of Power. Like, this MMO would have done great, and they wasted a lot of development from working on it all these years, twice as well. I guess they just wanted to give up on it and not lose more money, and I guess that's kind of reasonable. But still, to make that decision in a span of a month, something insane must have happened, and I'm really curious to see what the what information we got from all this, because yeah, we don't know right now what happened here, but I bet that we're gonna get a lot of information from other journalists, from the developers talking to other people throughout the next weeks and upcoming months. It's gonna be a very interesting time to understand what the hell happened here, especially when you realize that even the New World launch for the expansion was weird. I mean, it's obviously an expansion, not just a season, but they called it a season anyways. It was free, but only if you had the Angry Earth expansion. And then the day that it actually launched, they make it free for everybody and you just have to buy the base game. Like, surely if you wanted to go out with, making a lot of money, you would have just made you pay for this expansion, and a lot of people would have bought it anyways. I don't know. All of this just, it reeks of something more happening. So I'm just very curious to see what happens. And you guys can definitely let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. I'm very, very sad about the Lord of the Rings MMO, though. I think it would have been super, super cool, especially if it had a lot of what made New World great. I think it could have been super, super interesting and very successful just because of the fact that it is indeed Lord of the Rings. But I guess, sadly, we'll never know what it actually is. Who knows? Maybe the New World won't be acquired by someone, but maybe all the work that was done into Lord of the Rings MMO, maybe someone else gets it. I doubt that is going to be the case, but it is a very important IP. I guess Amazon has that IP now, but, well, at least the rights to it. But maybe someone else will be able to get the rights to do something with it, especially an MMO. I think it would be very, very cool. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support my content. Go to my Twitch to watch me live. See you guys around. Love you all. Ciao, ciao.